And that's really what it feels like. I feel as a woman specifically that I am recovering a sense of power. Like I realize and understand of like the powerful position I at the end of the day really am in when it comes to dating. When I remember who the fuck I am. Hello, welcome back to week 3. What a journey, man. This book is definitely something else. I again just really want to encourage you, if you have ever thought about reading it or you tried and you stopped, to give it another chance or pick it up for the first time. I feel like it's bringing up so many things, and my life is going into directions that are not necessarily just around my art and my artistry, but it actually also is touching on dating right now. And I just know that it is connected because the work that I have been doing, working with human design, with astrology, with the chakra system, and just an understanding of energetics, I know that creative energy is sexual energy. Creative energy is life force energy. Creative energy is very much connected to how we love, how we date, how we are being treated, how we want to be treated. And I can see such an upgrade happening for me in that area, just when it comes to the caliber of man that I'm attracting now, how my boundaries are stronger, how I guess my level of self-worth is just rising because I finally allow myself to play more. I finally allow myself to be more creative. I finally allow myself to not be so rigid and serious about these things. So that's what is happening for me personally. And it started like I'm in the middle of week 5 right now, but like that's what started happening for me as from week 3. So that's why I'm sharing it with you right now, because I feel like it might be connected, because in week 3, the tagline is literally recovering a sense of power. And that's really what it feels like. I feel as a woman specifically that I am recovering a sense of power. Like I realize and understand of like the powerful position I at the end of the day really am in when it comes to dating. When I remember who the fuck I am, when I remember what I quote unquote bring to the table, who am I? Like I'm like it is a privilege for men to spend time with me. And I'm not saying that to be cocky. I just realize that about myself. I like myself. I like who I am. I like the way I show up. I like the way how I carry myself. And that took work. Like that wasn't always the case. So, whereas in the past, I was like so stuck in people pleasing. And when it comes to dating, it was the same thing. Like when a man paid dinner and we went on 3 dates and he paid everything for 3 dates, there were thoughts of like, okay, what body part do I owe him now? Do I have to go beyond kissing? Don't I owe it to him now? If I wanted it, different story. But when I realized I wasn't quite ready yet to go all the way, I still had a conversation in my mind that, but don't I owe it to him now? Didn't he show up enough and did enough for me? Whatever that even fucking means. But it's so interesting how like these things have shifted, and like it is undeniably connected to me to this work. And I find it very interesting because, again, recovering a sense of power. And it says, this week may find you dealing with unaccustomed bursts of energy and sharp peaks of anger, joy, and grief. You are coming into your power, and the illusion and the illusory hold of your previously accepted limits is shaken. You will be asked to consciously experiment with spiritual open mindedness. And I feel like this is really what is happening. Like the shift in the dates that I'm attracting right now, and the sense of power that I have within myself of being okay with saying no if I don't want to do anything or go anywhere. And I'm not even just talking about sex, I'm also talking about like when they were like, I want to see you again and I don't feel like it. No. Like, and without any guilt. Whereas I've never really had a trouble to say no if I didn't want to do it again, like see someone again. But there was still a sense of guilt. And it was like, oh, I'm sorry for him. Which now is just like, no, I don't want to. Or if someone is just like, can we go further? And I'm just like, no. And they were like, why? And I was like, I don't want to. There's no other reason but that. I just don't want to. And that's okay. Like, I realized that, and I knew that before in other circumstances, but it showed up again for me here, is like this, that over explaining yourself is a trauma response because you want to be understood. And I'm at a point where I'm just like, I don't care. I know that I don't want to, and that's enough, whatever it may be, right? So it's interesting that in that week, it's also a lot about anger. And it says here, anger is fuel. We feel it and we want to do something. But we are nice people, and what we do with our anger is stuff it, deny it, bury it, block it, hide it, lie about it, medicate it, muffle it, ignore it. We do everything but listen to it. Anger is meant to be listened to. Anger is meant to be respected. And I realized that anger was coming up for me in different ways, in having anger for myself that I didn't finish a specific painting that I wanted to finish, and I said I would. So I was angry with myself, and I was angry with me telling myself that I wanted to do something and not showing up for myself. And then I realized, well, if you're not showing up for yourself, how do you expect someone else to show up for you? If you say something, if you tell yourself something that you will do, like go to the gym, finish a painting, write, whatever it is, and you're not doing it, you are then moving into either anger or you are moving into shame, which is another part in this book as well here in this chapter. And it also shows up in dating and relationships. So I've seen it being mirrored while I was working on my creativity, and at the same time, like dating became so prominent again in my life, whereas that wasn't the case for a very long time. Like there were, if you're following me for like other content before, like I talked about how difficult it is to date here in Bali. And now that I know that I'm leaving, I'm going back to Germany for a while. I'm taking my dog. I created a GoFundMe if you want to support us. The link is in the description for that. But now that I know that I'm leaving, there's less restrictions around finding my partner, and I'm just allowing myself to just actually date. So, which I also equate with having more fun again, allowing myself to not be so rigid and so serious about that as well. And at the same time, I'm going through all of the emotions and realizing that the old version of myself is being purged by doing that. So when it comes to shame, it is definitely also a thing that was really, really interesting. And it is something that is coming up in the same scope as the anger. Like I was saying, if you don't finish it, then at some point you will feel shame, because that's what we're being taught to feel when we're not doing what we said we were doing. Right? So it's interesting because then it also talks about criticism. And when you watched the last video, I was talking about how friends might sabotage you by projecting their fears onto you, or questioning how you change so much and take so much more time for yourself instead of meeting with them or doing something with them when you're going through this journey, because you're meant to go on dates with yourself as well. And that, criticism is still a thing that you need to allow, but you need to be able to decipher if it's actual criticism that would help you, or if it's just somebody hating on you, even though they're not doing it on purpose, but it's just like them projecting their shit onto you. So here it talks about like the criticism, and it says, shamed by such criticism, an artist may become blocked or stop sending work out into the world. A perfectionist friend, teacher, or critic, like a perfectionist parent who nitpicks at missing commas, can dampen the ardor of a young artist who is just learning to let it rip. Because of this, as artists, we must learn to be very self-protective. Does that mean no criticism? No. It means learning where and when to seek out right criticism. As artists, we must learn when criticism is appropriate and from whom. Not only the source, but the timing is very important here as well. So if there's a first draft of something that you're creating, is it writing, is it painting, whatever it is, sometimes it's not necessarily the best idea to show it to someone immediately, to ask for their opinion, because their criticism might crush you more than you expect. And then you think, oh, it's not good enough. I shouldn't even work on that anymore. So being more sovereign in that energy and just continuously work on it yourself before you show it to someone else might be the right thing here. So timing is very important. And I thought that was really interesting as well, which is the same thing when I'm talking about my friends about my dating life. Like sometimes I'm like, maybe I don't need input right now because I know it feels right what I'm doing right now. Maybe I don't need to know what my friends are thinking about it. So it's really just about like checking in with yourself, like where are you when it comes to that topic, if it's like your art or if it's dating or if it's anything else really. And stick with it with yourself first. I do have really, really great friends where I know that I can just tell them like, hey, I don't need your advice right now. I just want to talk about it, and for you to maybe ask me questions so that I can reflect myself. But not everyone has that. So sometimes it's important to know when is the right timing to, talk to someone about whatever it is that you have going on. And if it's the right person also, I guess, right? And then what I also loved was what it says here, because the antidote for shame is self-love and self-praise. This is what I did. I went for a walk. She was talking about like being criticized by someone before and then feeling shame. I went for a walk through Rock Creek Park. I prayed. I made a list for myself of past compliments and good reviews. I did not tell myself it doesn't matter, but I did tell my artist self, you will heal. And I showed up for my opening. It was a lot more successful than my review. So she got bad reviews prior to that, right? So if she would have just believed what the reviews would have said, she would have probably not showed up to her own opening, and she would have maybe like stopped it all together. I have a friend that is a writer, and he was just working for the first time with an editor, and the first editor was saying like, oh, this book needs a lot of work. Like, honestly, I don't think that this would go anywhere. And he was so crushed that he would have almost stopped, continuing. And I was like, that's one opinion. And it might have not even been an important opinion, because maybe this editor is just not the right fit for the content that you're writing. So I'm happy that I could help him get over this idea of not continuing, because I was like, no, this is good because I read that book and I genuinely think it's good. But it's just also right up my alley. It's like I would actually buy that book. I would actually, out there, not knowing about who he was or is, be interested in reading that book. And that editor might not. So it also is really important, like, to find your right audience when it comes to your art, when it comes to what you're producing, right? Or when it comes to like what you want to talk about, what is going on in your life. And then it also talks about like pointed criticism, if accurate, often gives the artist an inner sense of relief. So that's what was wrong with it. Because when it is useful criticism, ultimately it leaves us with one more puzzle piece for our work. So, and I feel like with that story, the editor was just like, actually, no, it's like too much work. Like, it's not worth it. Like, it was just like, so, like, why are you even an editor? Then just say, like, hey, I don't think it's the right work for me. I don't resonate with it. But here are some sources, or like, or look for someone that is looking for like that kind of work, or just a pointer of something. I think it was just also so, it was mean, you know? So it's really, really important to know who to talk to and when to talk to them when it comes to your art, when it comes to what you want to talk about, right? And then what I also thought was really interesting, it talks about growth in general and that it is an erratic forward movement. And sometimes it means 2 steps forward and 1 step back. And remember that and be very gentle with yourself. You are capable of great things on Tuesday, but on Wednesday you might slide backwards. This is normal. Growth occurs in spurts. You will lie dormant sometimes. Do not be discouraged. Think of it as resting. And then what I also know, and later in the book, she's also talking about that artists sometimes just need to do nothing. It's super important that we let our body, our mind, our spirit rest, because this is how we recharge again, to be able to create something new, right? So, and that sometimes feels like we are not growing because it's not a steady thing that is happening, right? Another thing that I wanted to talk about are the tasks, because what happens there as well is that in this week, you are reflecting on your habits that are destructive or sabotaging to yourself, and ones that are obvious and then ones that are more subtle. And ones that are like very obvious to me at the moment is Netflix, movies, series, and social media, and just procrastination in general. Like, I definitely felt that I was standing in my way of like continuously writing on the book that I'm writing, because I was lying to myself a little bit of like, no, let me concentrate on this first, and like, give more into this instead of that, and like more fun, because that was one of the things that I wanted to have in my life, which I established in I don't know if it was the last video, the video before. You should watch all of them because all of them has gems in it. But in one of the videos, you like establish what you want more in your everyday life happening, and one of the things was fun. So I also realized that I need to find a balance within, again, not having just fun and just concentrating on this book, but actually, get back to writing as well, because that's genuinely what I want to do, and realizing when I'm self-sabotaging myself. Right? And another more subtle self-sabotage technique that I realized I'm doing is like keeping myself busy with seeing friends or going on dates to not do what would help me figure out some of the things where I feel stuck. So sometimes what happens is when we realize that we want something more, like we want some more of that, and we are here right now, we are rushing over to the other spectrum of it instead of allowing ourselves to find the balance. But sometimes that's exactly what needs to happen, because when you have deprived yourself of something for so long, then the right step first is to go to the other side, in my opinion. And then you have to realize, okay, now we have to balance it out again. Because if you would immediately just go to the balance, it's again too serious. It's again not allowing you the fun of it. It's again not allowing you to, just like experience it, right? So I thought that was really interesting. And then it asked like 5 people that you admire and 5 people that you secretly admire, and look at their traits and who they are and what they do, to just realize like, oh, I want to do that. I want to do more of this. I want to be more of that. So it's really still really much about figuring out what is lacking or missing, so that you will feel more confident in yourself to show up as the version that you want to be. That will help you to start creating again and let that inner artist come out. So I think this week was really interesting, and I'm trying to like catch up with making these videos. So I'm actually making the video of the week that I just finished, so I'm not like too far detached from how I felt during that week, so I can really capture the feeling and everything that comes with it when I like share these videos with you. But yeah, week 3 was definitely interesting, because this is again where the dating thing came up for me again, and I was like, that is so interesting, and it makes so much sense that it is connected. And it's still going on in week 5 right now for me, that there's still of like, I'm going on different dates, I'm meeting different men, and it's just, very interesting to see how it is really just connected for me to this. And it might just be my personal experience, um, because I think that when it comes to my astrology, for example, I know that I'm learning in the most profound ways through connections, through relationships, not just romantic, also friends, but also romantic relationships. So I think like stirring all of these things up with the help of this book, my soul is just using the pathways that it knows where it will have the best, fastest, more impactful outcome when it comes to growth, when it comes to the topic that are being stirred up. And for me, that is through relationships. So it might be different for you guys. I would love to know if you're actually reading it, or if you have and you remember what it was and you still have your journal and you can look back into it. How was week 3 for you? Or if you're now starting now and you're seeing this, come back when you're actually in week 3 and tell me about it in the comments, because I would love to know if that is like a unique experience for me, or if that someone can relate to that. With that being said, I think I'm going to close it out here. And I'm excited to talk about week 4, which I'm probably going to try to record in a couple of days from now. So it's not, again, going to be so far away. And that I can talk about week 5 when I move into week 6. And that is then already, when week 6 is done, it's already the halfway through, which is crazy. Like, this is going by so fast already. So thank you for being here. Please like, comment, subscribe, share. Let me know in the comments how you like this. If there's anything that you would like me to pay more attention to talk more about in these videos, please let me know. I would love for this to be a more interactional thing, because this helps me to understand what it is that you actually want to know about this. And yeah, share your experiences if you're reading it, if you have read it, or if you're interested in it, what your fears are, whatever it is that is coming up for you. Okay? Thank you, and I see you next week.